Are we really, as they say, crashing out? Because you can't buy all the things that you want on someone else's dime? Is that what you're doing? I'm gonna have to step my happy ass out of my cave real quick to speak on this and give my little ass opinion, and I know, I'm a nobody. My opinion don't mean nothing.
Opinion don't mean none.
But actually, it means everything. It means as much as your opinion matters. And heads up on how I address this and what side I'll be on if you read my username, I don't have patience. So quick recap, and I'm not Katie Couric or a journalist, so I'm not gonna do your homework for you, but just so that we're on the same page here, there are several states who are rightfully so, well I wouldn't say rightfully, because they're always up to shenanigans, but definitely they are understandably so looking over the budget and policies and laws, and they're amending their food stamp program. Or, for any foreigners or just out-of-touch American listeners, a form of government assistance welfare for meals. You buy the items with something known as EBT cards. Now I have never been on food stamps for a few reasons. 1, because I don't have the patience to wait all day to be treated like shit at the welfare office. 2, even in these shitty dark days and times of the job market, it's easier to apply for a job than it is honestly to apply for welfare of any kind. And now it's worse, because the population has drastically increased due to migrants losing their minds flooding over here like everything is peachy, hunky-dory.
But it's hard for me to sit there and pretend like everything's great and hunky-dory when it's not.
Who is hunky-dory?
3. I learned how to grow up without extra help because the household made literally $1 to $1,000, maybe just $100 too much to qualify for assistance. I say all this to say, I grew up with friends who were on government assistance like WIC and food stamps. And I remember going to the store with them back in the days, for me, the 2000s and 2010s as a 90s baby, when you could scrape together some quarters to buy takeout and snacks after school. And I remember friends who would be paying with welfare cards or whatever it is, having to put so much shit back, because it wouldn't be covered. I say all that to say, there have always been conditions with what you can get on welfare, so I don't know where all the mayhem and madness and brouhaha and hullabaloo and hooting and howling and hootenanny foolishness is coming from. Also, for anyone who has any self-respect, you shouldn't want any of that sugary processed shit anyway. Once you realize what happens to your body and your blood and your cells and therefore your brain and organs after ingesting even a cup or bowl or packet of any of this shit, you're crying about not being able to get off someone else's charity as a whole beggar. Also, these are luxury items. And they're also increasing in price by 2-3 times while decreasing in quality and/or quantity. Everyone is feeling the burn somewhere, and you want to demand that a luxury be free for you. Not only do you want to demand it, you want to scream and shout and bully and berate anyone and everyone for not getting it. I think it's withdrawal. And I hope the government doesn't get bullied into making it free again, not just for economic purposes, but healthcare purposes, and not just obesity, but mental health. Because these people are clearly crazy, and they need to learn how to behave and live without Cheetos and Kool-Aid. But let's look at what some of these literal cookie monsters have to say. And heads up, there's a lot of ignorance and melodramatics. So shield your precious little brains to not be influenced by any of this shit that they're saying appealing to your emotions or bottom-feeding to you if you share any of these opinions they have, because I'll be providing commentary on it throughout. So hold on tight, it's about to get ghetto.
Don't take for food stamps and what they do. So they do have these little labels with the circle on it that tells you what they do and what they can and cannot take. So they can't take Kool-Aid jammers. They can take Capri Suns, but they can't take these regular Capri Suns. They do accept the ones that say 100% juice Capri Sun, like this one. That one didn't have a no snap thing on it. So you can buy Capri Suns, but you got to get the 100% juice. These juices, goods, goody, or whatever the hell that shit is, y'all can buy that off food stamps. Honest Kids, you can buy that shit off food stamps. Anything else outside of like healthy juices, 100% real juice, if it ain't apple juice and it don't have added sugar in it, you can buy it. But like Ocean Spray, can't buy that shit. Now y'all know that Ocean Spray be full of sugar, can't buy that shit. Some of the orange juices you can buy depending on what it is. Some of the malts you couldn't buy. Welch's you can't buy, of course. Arizona, too much sugar, added sugars in it. You definitely buy Olipops. Y'all can buy the Olipops. Anything probiotic, they got you. Even these bubblers, you can buy those. Not Minute Maid. You can't buy these no more. Can't buy them at all. No. I know they real cheap and they budget friendly. Can't buy them. But you can definitely buy Gushers. You can still buy fruit snacks. But you can buy, and you can buy Little Debbie's. You know what? But what I get my mixed.
I'll just step in to say, I learned what drinks are healthy and unhealthy. It seems like the person filming this let health slip from their minds, and were just concerned about nitpicking what, to them, made sense and what didn't make sense. Because people are more concerned about getting likes on their content, and so they just compulsively, without even thinking about it, say what they think people want to hear. Which is just complain and say, oh hell nah. Instead of, wow, this is good, we can save our food stamps on real food now, and obesity can go down. Let's move on to someone else.
Girl, what happened? Who was yelling? She was like, girl, some customer was yelling because, food stamps had changed. Right. So this is changes made in Texas for food stamps April 1st. Okay. You can't buy no covered sugar candy. You can't buy Gatorade. You can't stuff with all that sugar and shit in it. You can't buy all that juice and shit and soda pop, all that stuff. Anyways, so she was like, the lady was mad because she still had a balance after she swiped the food stamps. So when they told her she had to pay for the difference because food stamps don't cover that, the lady got mad, started cussing out the cashier.
Stepping in to say, this is also what pissed me off while I was watching this shit. The ignorance of the outrage. Not only are they outraged about something ridiculous, it's the way people show their outrage for me. How are you gonna yell at a whole cashier at Dollar General or wherever you are? As if they control what qualifies for a whole government program? I hope that monsters screaming at cashiers about not being able to buy Oreos saves their money on the gym and therapy and some night classes to get some kind of an education. Next.
That makes sense. I think that's why people care, like right here, because we pay for it. Taxpayers don't want you to pay for other people's junk food. I'm going to go ahead and argue that when food stamps is treated as if like you deserve it, that's like me just going, oh, I qualify for disability, give it to me. And then also while you're at it, give me the food stamps. But I want to live life like everyone else that doesn't get any of those things. For best is like the overweight person, the morbidly obese person.
Exactly. I'll add on to say, imagine if someone came up to you crying, maybe a friend, someone you're dating, a coworker, a roommate, a neighbor, a random civilian, a distant relative, someone who you're not obligated at all usually to do jack shit for, let alone telling your own spouse or kids or parents or siblings fuck off with demands, which some horrible people do. And let's say this random person is like, they need a new phone, they lost theirs or it got stolen. And they're a mess and in shambles and pieces. Not the phone, but the person. They're devastated. So you go ahead and offer to get them a new phone. This is called a favor or charity. You're like, I'ma get you a little something something. An Obama phone. A flip phone. You can't do what you want on here, like download apps and FaceTime or save a bunch of photos and videos or whatever, but you can do what you need, which is call and text and open web pages real quick, and they're like, no, fuck you. I want you to get me a new iPhone with this much storage and on this data plan that I want, and from this network carrier. I want it in this color, and I want a phone case like this. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna raise all hell on you, bitch. That's literally what these food stamp freaks are doing, getting angry at the government and the welfare office for not allowing them to buy certain snacks and sugary drinks. They aren't mad because of whatever shenanigan there is behind this. They're mad because they just can't get snacks and Capri fucking Sun. Next. Now this next person is the most dramatic motherfucker I have ever seen. And I actually became ill listening to them. They actually managed to bring war and genocide and slavery and the school system into this, y'all.
HEB, and I knew the changes were already here and I knew they were coming, but once I saw the signs of the changes, it really left me with a feeling that was so uneasy, and let me tell you why. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here in Texas you can no longer buy sweets, candies, chips, or anything like that with the Lone Star card. The Lone Star card is what we here in Texas call SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And this change became into effect under a specific bill called Senate Bill 379, and it's relating to prohibiting the purchase of sweetened drinks and candy under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And these were the signs that I saw at my local HEB. I love HEB and I know that they had nothing to do with this, but here they're just displaying that there are some SNAP changes. All candy and some sweetened drinks are no longer SNAP eligible. That was in the candy aisle and in the soda aisle. And my thoughts on it are just so uneasy because in the last legislative session, Greg Abbott and MAGA Republicans said it was okay to take money out of public schools and give that money in private school vouchers to wealthy parents who could already afford a private school education. So he did that for them and said, to hell with you poor people. I'm not going to give you any more opportunity to buy a Dr. Pepper or buy a Sprite or buy a Big Red. I used to work in public education, and a lot of the students that I serviced would depend and rely on SNAP to purchase things like candy and drinks, especially when we had days where it was just a movie day and you could bring a snack. And now I can help but think about that child who could no longer get that because their parents can't afford a Dr. Pepper or a Sprite or a Hershey's candy bar. I saw on Facebook, and someone said, who was on a fixed income, said their one luxury in life was buying a Dr. Pepper a day. One Dr. Pepper. And now they can no longer do that because they are on a fixed income and they relied on SNAP, their Lone Star card. And I still can't understand how the United States and Texas can allow things like this and give money to wealthy people or give money to countries like Israel who have committed an ethnic cleansing on the Palestinian people, using our tax dollars to do that, all while funding healthcare for them. But God forbid Texans buy a fucking soda, right?
All I have to say is...
Sorry.
This is what they do, try to get you on board with petty things that actually are at the detriment of society, by conflating them with important issues with sensationalist bottom-feeding rhetoric. How we went from, you can't buy increasingly expensive unhealthy items with welfare funding, to the poor school children, to ethnic cleansing. May he suffer for whatever schemes he is up to. Next.
But the government is not letting y'all buy those snacks, no sodas, none of that on them food stamp cards no more. So y'all better go get y'all snacks. My mama, she went and got her snacks. But the ones that got the storehouses, y'all better go stack up. Thank you. None of these no more. Not happening no more. Y'all can get those. Not these though. I don't think, probably those two. Y'all can get those two. Not these. Probably. I don't know. Yeah. Probably, yeah. See, why y'all need two of these? That's why they taking them out. That's why they removing this shit. Like, y'all can buy that. Y'all can buy this too. No Oreos. No little Debbie cake muffins. No Ruffles cause you got a storehouse and you sell spicy bowls. None of that no more. No fruit snacks. Y'all probably can get the croutons right here, but not the fruit snacks. Them cereal back there, I don't know. See, I don't know. I'm gonna give y'all the rule. But she said she had to come get hers before they cut her.
Now, you and I both know she is not an entrepreneur. She called her surplus of junk a storehouse, saying she sells the stuff from out her house. It's a lie. Her stock is too small to be selling it. She doesn't have a storehouse, she just brought everything from the store to her house. Like a typical big back. Because if she is selling that stuff, 1. She won't make a return on her investment, 2. She's selling them illegally, and 3. She's putting her crusty feet on those poor innocent items. But my point really is, these welfare recipients have clearly been spoiled because she has more shit in her cupboards than most tax-paying, working, independent Americans. Meanwhile, even if I wanted or even needed assistance, I couldn't and haven't had any. Now while I can objectively brush my thoughts to the side with my bangs about my thoughts and tingly spidey senses flaring up that since the prices of these snacks in particular are quote luxury items, anyone who buys them will make these companies and stores and the government a
Because the government!
Now, you and I both know she is not an entrepreneur. She called her surplus of junk a storehouse, saying she sells the stuff from out her house. It's a lie. Her stock is too small to be selling it. She doesn't have a storehouse, she just brought everything from the store to her house. Like a typical big back. Because if she is selling that stuff, 1. She won't make a return on her investment, 2. She's selling them illegally, and 3. She's putting her crusty feet on those poor innocent items. But my point really is, these welfare recipients have clearly been spoiled because she has more shit in her cupboards than most tax-paying, working, independent Americans. Meanwhile, even if I wanted or even needed assistance, I couldn't and haven't had any. Now while I can objectively brush my thoughts to the side with my bangs about my thoughts and tingly spidey senses flaring up that since the prices of these snacks in particular are quote luxury items, anyone who buys them will make these companies and stores and the government a whole hell of a lot more money, through profit, taxes, and tariffs, money they can't get if they're already paying for it. The raised prices of candy and chips and drinks becomes counterproductive instead of profit. But that's not the point. Because these people act like they didn't even graduate high school on time or at all and don't even know what a tariff is or how to spell it. They're not mad about the politics behind it, they're mad that they can't get the shit, period, and they have nerve. So anyways, I made the mature choice to not buy snacks that I can't afford, and also that are unhealthy anyways. Last week I went to get me snacks, 5 half-full bags of chips for 3 people cost around $40. Guess what I did? I put those bitches back. A bag of M&Ms cost $15. Guess what I did, especially after I was reminded that the chocolate is not even real? I walked right by. That's what you do when you can't afford something you don't need. You don't riot, loot, argue, demand. Next. Actually, never mind. I don't have shit else to say right now.